Thank you very much for inviting, dear colleagues. I am happy to continue the great and comprehensive analysis of Marina Vorotnyuk, Ms. Vorotnyuk. Thank you very much for your really a great and very deep picture on what's going on in Eastern Partnership countries. And I'd like to give you more maybe military details and analysis of the exercises which happening by Russians in our area. I think it could be interesting for you. First of all, the military threat for Ukraine and other Eastern Partnership countries, especially association trio, which is Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine, is created by Russia, is now real, and I think it's even higher than in 2014, 2015. I would say it's real preparation for different types of operations, including full-scale offensive operation against Ukraine and other countries of Eastern Partnership on several directions. To be clear, Russia was building military forces and military infrastructures in our area and especially around Ukraine since 2014, after occupation of Crimea and part of Donbass. In 2017-2018, Russia has completed to develop 3 new armies. It's the first army close to Moscow, 20th Army with headquarters in Voronezh, and 8th Army with headquarters in Novocherkassk, which is close to Rostov. And this army is very interesting because this army exactly conducting command and control, personnel and weapon supplying and comprehensive logistics for occupation forces in Ukraine and Donbass, occupied Donbass. And of course, Ms. Vorotnyuk told that it was created a strong combined occupation forces group in occupied Crimea. What is important, all of these forces were provided with modern air and land components, electronic warfare systems, missile systems, and C2, together with new logistics and maintenance of the forces. Together, I think it's very interesting. Together, they have approximately 300 missiles. It's kind of 100 tactical ballistic Iskander missiles around Ukrainian border and 200, approximately 200 cruise missiles in the Black Sea Fleet platforms in occupied Crimea. Additionally, we can speak about regional group of troops of Union of Russia and Belarus, which acts actually with common military doctrine, unified plan and joint command. In fact, Belarus armed forces will be the first echelon of joint group of force together with Russian Western Military District in case of military operation of Western strategic direction. That was totally confirmed during a last strategic exercise Zapad 2021 when Russia started to deploy own forces on Belarus territory. Russia announced that the Air Force of Russia and Belarus will begin joint air defense missions on the Belarus territory. In addition, Belarus and Russia have agreed to establish 3 shared combat training centers. One of these facilities, a joint combat training center of the Air Force and Air Defense Forces, will be located on the territory of Belarus in Grodno region. Besides, it was officially announced that Russia and Belarus will deploy joint SIGINT and ELINT, so signal intelligence and electronic intelligence posts, on Belarus border with Poland, Lithuania, Latvia and Ukraine. What is important, during Zapad 2021, Russian and Belarus troops tried to conduct different types of network-centric operations by itself and act against enemies which use network-centric warfare approach. Russian forces in transition region of Republic of Moldova could play own role in the offensive operations in our regions, against Ukraine especially, in support of Russian marine landing operations by Russian forces in Ukrainian Black Sea coast, as well as Russian special forces and secret services operation in south regions of Ukraine could be supported by Russian forces in transition region. Now a couple of words and couple details on the analysis of current Russian military activities shows an increasing threat of Russia's use of military forces. Russia deployed approximately 100,000 troops close to Ukrainian border now. All of these forces have clear offensive and not defensive formation, and they are ready to conduct offensive operations on 6 or 7 directions simultaneously, including occupied Crimea. After analysis of huge Russian exercises in April-May this year, strategic exercise up at 2021 in September, and a last Russian exercise in occupied Crimea in October this year, I can conclude that the most probable scenario for Russia now is to find the proper time and conditions inside of Ukraine, especially political and economic destabilization kind of 2014, or energy crisis, which is pretty probable now, and conduct very fast and intensive operation from occupied Crimea with the main goal to occupy new territories in southern Ukraine, to close access to the sea for Ukraine, create land corridor from Russia to occupied Crimea, and seize infrastructure for water supplying to occupied Crimea. This fast operation most probably will be conducted by new types of airborne units and Marine Corps units. I will explain what does it mean, these new types of airborne units. During massive military exercise next to Ukrainian border in April-May of this year, we found that Russia sent to occupied Crimea several airborne units, and some of them didn't return to Russia territory, even now. Russia deployed in Crimea in May 2,000 airborne troops of 7 Airborne Assault Division from Novorossiysk, several units of 76 Airborne Assault Division from Pskov, but the most important that during this exercise Russia has sent to Crimea for permanent deployment all of units of 56 Airborne Assault Brigade from Volgograd Oblast of Russia to Feodosia in Crimea. We have information that this brigade is now in the process of transformation to Airborne Assault Regiment of new type, so-called light airborne units equipped with light armor vehicles and helicopters and as the main instruments for airborne operations. These new types light airborne units should conduct very fast operations for vertical envelopment of the theater based on the network-centric warfare principles. Together with new light airborne units with operation could support Marine Corps units from Crimea. During April-May this year, the 2 large landing ships from Russian Baltic Fleet, 2 large landing ships from Russian Northern Fleet, and 8 small landing ships from the Caspian Flotilla arrived to Crimea and never get back to the origin places of service. So now Russians, created a pretty strong landing ships units in Crimea, which is together with Black Sea Fleet ships, Black Sea Fleet ships. They have 11 large landing ships and 13 small landing ships who can conduct landing operations with approximately 5,000 Marines with up to 230 armor vehicles. Additionally, Russia is ready to close exit of Ukraine to the sea and blockade Ukrainian commercial lines of maritime communications, what Ms. Vorotnyuk told already. My forecast for the military preparations of Russia and military intentions of Russia, that most probably Russia won't start the new military actions against Ukraine before favorable conditions and time. I could explain it, of course, that the Ukrainian armed forces now is pretty different that Ukraine had in 2014. Ukraine now is ready to fight, and Ukraine is ready to have a long defense operations. But the main problem for Ukraine could be the political and economical destabilization inside of Ukraine and inability of Ukrainian state and military leadership to provide effective command and control on the intensive hybrid attacks by Russia. I told several times about centric network warfare principles which Russia is trying to prepare to applying offensive operations against Ukraine, it means that Russia is trying to conduct very fast operations, maybe several hours, and if Ukrainian leadership, I mean state and military leadership is not ready to answer in several minutes, several hours to these offensive operations and to organize defensive operations, it means that Russia will fix the situation in several hours and will try to blackmail Western countries and Ukraine and blackmail and talking about it, it's possible that Russia will start the full-scale operations with all of these 100,000 forces around Ukraine if Ukraine will start to defense. Now a couple of words about the Eastern Partnership regarding this situation. In my opinion, Eastern Partnership cooperation with EU and the security sphere today, unfortunately, is not systematic enough, focusing mainly on civilian security aspects, and is rather limited in the defense sector. The main problems here, I think, is a different threat perception and motivations in security sphere, not only between EU and Eastern Partnership countries, but between different countries inside of EU and inside of Eastern Partnership. Of course, in Eastern Partnership, we have absolutely clear division for two groups. It's Association Trio, Georgia, Moldova, Ukraine, with clear intentions and ambitions for integration to European Union, and other countries like Armenia, Azerbaijan and Belarus, which don't have strong intentions for cooperations with EU, especially in security sphere. And I think it's even difficult to say that Belarus is a partner of European Union now because of the internal situation and regime of Lukashenko. Sure and obvious that Eastern Partnership, let's talk about association trio, first of all, has to do a lot in the internal reforms and fighting corruption, of course, but of course the cooperation with EU is one of the most effective instruments for providing reforms in the Eastern Partnership country security sectors. But I think it's not enough now in current situation and conditions with what we talked together with Ms. Vorotnyuk. EU strategic leadership and a proactive responsibility for development of the situation in Eastern Partnership security space could be a new impulse, not only for this project, I mean Eastern Partnership, but for more stable region. Potential positive example could be here that European Union is considering now about the creating of EU military advisory and training mission in Ukraine. And I think it could be a great step forward. That could be a real, not only positive changes, not only in security cooperation between EU and Ukraine, but with Eastern Partnership countries in whole. I think that my proposition that on the basis of this EU training mission in Ukraine is possible to create a special hub or framework for exchanging of the experience between EU countries and Eastern Partnership members in the hybrid warfare, disinformation, national resilience, cybersecurity and other security issues. So my recommendations here, how to boost cooperation with Eastern Partnership and EU in security domain, which could be also to a positive factor for stable region. Let's start to make smaller but maybe concrete and very practical steps with countries that are ready for it. Obviously, it's Association Trio. EU military advisory and training mission in Ukraine could become a security hub for this new impulse, and for sure we need to attract other countries of Eastern Partnership for more intensive cooperation in the security field, but of course with individual approach for Azerbaijan, Armenia and Belarus because of the different understanding of the situation and the reach of these countries. Thanks for your attention.